What's up, everybody? My name is Jacob Hardison, and today we're doing a track walk. Alrighty, so here we are at the new indoor track for Adrenaline RC's Spring Point Series. I won't keep you guys too long here on the intro because I know everybody's super excited to check out what this layout is going to be for the series. So without further ado, we'll just go ahead and jump straight into it here. So we are going to be going counterclockwise this time. So we're going to be going towards that man door, opposite of what we usually are. And of course, we have our lovely stripe here in front of us. So the first thing we're going to do is, with some nice throttle, zoom down to what's just going to be a couple of skips here. So you're going to jump off of this first one into the second taller one, kind of as like a braking bump per se. Then after you go over the braking bump, we'll of course go to the straightaway / grid. I'll turn around here. So the first one is pretty much on the small side. This one here, definitely quite a bit taller. You can see the peak is almost as tall as that tabletop. So I'd say maybe around like 1.5 feet tall, something like that. That tabletop should be around the 2 foot tall area. So I imagine 1.5 feet area should be about how tall that is. And then of course, like I said, that first single could be a little bit on the smaller side. Then we're gonna come into probably the easiest portion of the track, the straightaway. Nothing too crazy here. We're of course just gonna go straight down. As you can see while I'm walking down here, the grid does span the entire length. So I did spread it out quite a bit. That way, of course, at the start of the race, we have a nice clean start. So as we come down to the end of our straightaway, to one of our lovely ARs here, we're gonna sweep onto the same roller that was here from the last layout, but we are gonna be, of course, hitting it in the opposite direction now, whereas before we were coming at us. So we'll get a side view of that. Like I said, this hasn't changed, so you guys already know how tall this guy is. So we'll come over this roller, and you're gonna be sweeping all the way from the straightaway over this roller into our final portion of this 90 here, which will complete the sweeper. I guess technically you're kind of sweeping actually all the way down to this point here. So you'll come down over this roller, sweep to this short chute, then you'll be met with a 180, which has tons of runoff area, plenty of area to allow for overtaking opportunity, or because of the way we qualify with top 3 consecutive, you can use this as like a stop point, kind of get back in the zone and start your next 3 laps. As we come through here, so this is going to be the end of that sweeper, you'll 180 into our switchback with our lovely AR there once again. So far, the start of the track, nothing too crazy, pretty simple, straightforward, high speed, flowy. Then as we round our second 180 of the switchback here, that will take us to our first double. So our first double here is pretty large. I don't have an exact measurement, although it looks like the peak kind of lines up with the end of that 8-foot piece of plywood way over there. And this is gonna be our lander here. So in theory, we're probably a little over 16 foot peak to peak. So we have 2 8-foot sheets of plywood over there. So this is gonna be the first double. Plenty of lift off of this. Honestly, with the amount of run up and the lift that's on this, even though it's gonna be a pretty wide or pretty long jump for something like a 10 scale, I do think that maybe a 2-wheel drive buggy can clear this. Because you'll come around, like I said, you'll have plenty of run up and you can always go wide, smack onto this guy. You'll get plenties of lift off of that, taking you over to our lander. This lander, what you'll notice with them all in this layout, I tried to drag them out a lot more. That way there was tons of landing distance. You're not kind of landing on the flat. You've got plenty of area, whether you're up top here or at the bottom. That'll bring you down into this lovely dip and onto the tabletop. So this was the tabletop from the last layout, but of course we don't have a staircase here anymore. Give an idea of what our run up looks like there. So there's our lander. You'll go up the more aggressive portion of the tabletop. So as you come off of this, obviously you'll be carrying some speed. That way you can make this jump. This will be your braking point. You'll use the face of this to help slow the car down. Then you'll come up and pivot. Instead of going straight towards our adrenaline banner there, like the last layout came at us, you're going to not make quite a full 180, We are going to start facing back towards the back portion of the building. So you'll come over this double to the tabletop, and then this will have a downhill run up to this takeoff. Drop down here, give you guys an idea. So that, of course, was the more aggressive side. This is a lot more, I don't know what the word is, just a lot less aggressive, a lot less incline there. So again, you can carry tons of speed off of this, help you get a bit of a boost out of the turn to make this double here. So again, for that same reason, I do think that we will see some two-wheel drive vehicles jumping all the way over to the back side of that jump. This one here, I don't have as much of a board reference, but this is going to be a pretty big double that we come into here. I'll actually walk back up. I don't think I really gave a great view of the point down to it. So you can see, come up the table, down the table, into our takeoff. Yet again, another very lippy jump, so definitely we'll have plenties and plenties of lift. And this guy here is kind of similar to the front skips. Can't really see him on there right now, but it's gonna be almost as tall as that tabletop, so at least 1.5 feet, maybe 2 foot. And you'll have plenties of landing distance. And again, you can see I drag out that lander a ton. So you'll come off that, hold full throttle, come on the lander, and then as you're carrying speed, that will then bring you into the bank, which again is going to be very similar to the last layout, but of course we're hitting it backwards this time. So you can see, come off that tabletop over there, over this double, into a short chute that is then up and down the bank into our final double. Now this one is not going to be as tall as the other two, but very similar. It's going to have plenties of lip there, and you'll have plenty of run up all the way from the back bank to probably about the middle-ish portion of the track. So we'll jump this double into, again, a nice drawn out lander, and you'll have plenties of room before the turn where that tip is, and then that'll bring you into the kind of final portion of the track, probably the most technical portion of the entire track. So you'll jump that double, land, and then you'll chicane, and this is gonna be an option section. So I put a nice big hump here right on the inside of the turn, with the theory being that you could carry speed off of this, use this as a braking point, but you're gonna have to go a lot slower because this entire turn is gonna be off camber to you. Or you can land that, carry speed around the outside, and then come to our final kick. But the lip on this kick is gonna be more aggressive on the outside. So you have a tall hump there, ride off camber the whole time, so you'll have to go slow. Or you can carry speed, use your braking point, and then that brings you into the final 180 to close out the track. And then that takes you to our straightaway. Well, kind of a straightaway. There's a little bit of a short chute there, but you can see you'll come off that double through the chicane. There is plenty of opening there. It's not a super tight chicane, as you can see there. So you have plenty of opportunity to be able to get that done, and you have plenty of opening to be able to then slow down after that lander so you can hit this nice and smooth. Like I said, you'll pop up and over, and then that will bring you to the front section of the track. So as per usual, we'll go ahead, make our way very quickly up to the top of the driver's stand here, and we'll get you a full view of the track. It's a lot more high speed, flowy this time compared to the last layout, a lot more open. So we'll find our loop there, skip, skip, down the straightaway nice and fast, sweep over that roller, sweep all the way to the entrance of our switchback. Then you'll go, of course, through the switchback, make another 180, do a double at you, use the tabletop as your braking point, have lots and lots of speed coming down off that same tabletop into the biggest double of the track, which then zooms into the back bank. After the bank, you'll carry lots of speed into our final double, land right at the tip there, go through the chicane, and then you'll round off into the front once again. So thank you guys for joining me today. This is going to be an awesome layout for us to run our spring series on, and we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.